Okay guys, I'm going to do a video on the California Zephyr. This is just going to be a talk, no clips of the actual trip on the route from Chicago to California. A lot of videos out there, you can see those. I'm just going to tell you our experience. Been on it like 6 times. First time 10 to 12, 15 years ago with our first daughter. Ashley, she was about 6 years old, I believe. And I just got tired of flying. I was scared, if I want to be honest. And so I'm going to run through some tidbits, kind of a compact thing of everything. Pros and cons, experiences, kind of quick. There's like 2 couples, one specific one that goes over a lot of stuff on the Amtrak. They break it down. They can only go over so much, so it gets repetitive after a while. Still great information and stuff. So, but I'm going to tell you how our time has gone. So initially, I was excited. Let's do this train thing. We come from Michigan, lower half of Michigan. Quick train trip over to Chicago, and then wait an hour or two, get on the Zephyr. So Ashley and I, we head over to Chicago. We sit in the little area there at Union Station I didn't know much about. Mind you, I know everything now, but back then didn't. Sitting there, a lot of people moving around, a little excited but anxious too. Staff came over and said, "Hey, what are you guys waiting for?" And I said, "Oh, well, we're waiting to go to California. We're going to be on the Zephyr." And she's like, "You have a sleeper or you have a room?" I said, "Yeah, we do." She's like, "Come with me." Took us to the lounge. Now, I didn't know about this back then. And took us to the lounge, which is great. So there's, compared to just being out with the common folk, as I joke, we're pretty common folk, but food and their snacks, they get you on the train first. There's no real security that's visible anyway, no metal detectors and all the hassle of the airport, 50 million people tucked in tight or what have you. But you get on the train first, so they get you on the train. And there's baggage right there on the bottom floor, in a sense, and you can just put your bags there, the big bags. Now I bring a small bag here. Okay, we'll go over that in the room in a minute here. So you can be top or bottom in the cars. We prefer the top. Didn't know much on this first trip, but top cars, so you can see out. No one kind of can look in on the bottom. Not a big thing. The bottom apparently can be a little noisier. Rougher. We've done both, mostly the top, just twice on the bottom out of the like 6 times or so. But I like the top. There's 1 bathroom up there, 3 downstairs, a shower down there. Never had a problem with getting into a bathroom at all because coach people can't come into the sleeper cars. That helps. Showers always work nicely. I like a shower in the morning early before anybody's up. It's 1 shower, but I never have a problem at 5 in the morning when I've gotten up just to loosen up. Yeah, so get into your room. It seems pretty tight. It really does seem tight. Slightly claustrophobic, probably anxiety there, nervousness about the whole train thing anyway in the beginning. But it seems tight, but in a few hours, if not a day, but a few hours, it gets bigger. It feels bigger. You get more comfortable in the room. It's great for 2 people, especially a kid. And if you're, decent size, under 200 pounds, even around 200 pounds, it fits great. I'd rather have a roomette than a bedroom. Like I said, there's videos that go over specifics and this and that. I'm telling you, they're great because they go over some good pros and cons of everything. Wouldn't do a bedroom. You sleep perpendicular. I don't think I'd like that at all. Small bathroom. I'd rather go to the other bathrooms. We go in because there's always rooms open. They're extremely expensive too. So I'm like, no, we don't need to do that. So roomette, it's great all the way. What we bring into the roomette, you can bring a bunch of stuff. I try and limit stuff, of course. So number 1 thing, an extension cord. So a couple talks about a plug-in that you can plug multiple things in. No, extension, I shouldn't say no, but little 4-foot, I guess, extension cord, plug in, bring it over to the middle of your roomette, put it on the table there or lay it there, but the last few times, double-sided tape. So I get this little one, 2 plugs, 2 other plugs there, USB, plenty for 2 people. And I put double-sided tape, whether it's this way or this way, 2 pieces, one for the trip out, one for the trip back. You just unpeel it, stick it there. Take it off, can be a little hassle, but stick it to the window, bottom of the window, or the little grill underneath the window there, and it's right there, pretty much in the middle, easy to plug in and out. You don't need these long cords from that plug that's over your right shoulder on one side. So this is great. You can do another one, just a plug-in, of course. And I take a battery pack, or I try to, in case power goes out and you didn't have your stuff topped off. It can happen. I generally not always keep it topped off because you could have a power outage or the engine goes down. We only had that for an hour or 2 one time. No big deal, but you want to make sure your stuff is charged up. So, okay. I do bring a fan, a little clipper fan. Best thing to bring, for me anyway. I like the white noise. I like air circulating. You get air from the top in the room. It's cool if anything, but it has been warm. I'd rather it be cooler than warm on the train. So if something breaks down, we've never had much issues on the train. They talk about problems in other videos. Our first trip, we got into where was it? Martinez or Davis is where we got off at, almost at the end of the line, and within a half hour. But the number one negative of Amtrak is on time. It's 6 hours late typically. Our first time, great. One other time, yes, but the other times, very late. My parents didn't want once coming back to Chicago. Supposed to come in somewhere around 5. I'm trying to remember. It was like 1 in the morning, which you got to kind of plan on that and stuff. But anyway, fan, I clip it to the curtain, and then I can have it, directional, move air and stuff. This is a rechargeable one. I try and keep it plugged in. So if we do have engine problems, especially if it gets warm, you have the fan still, okay? I did get an air purifier at one point. I did take this on like once or maybe twice. And this is a nice little one. If you're worried about air and stuff, we've never had a problem. It's nice in the room, especially if you go through big tunnels, you smell the fumes and stuff. So, okay. Talking fast, get through all that. I made a video, but I think it's too long and stuff. So, anyway, Amtrak's great. Book early. You can call them if prices drop. This is how it was. I learned that. Call them. It dropped $100 or $2 for your trip. They'll redo it. You might not get the same room, but that's fine for most people. I still like the top, which is single digits for the Zephyr. Okay, we kind of like 5 and 6 is in the middle somewhere. And then, is it 10 or 11? I think it goes through 10 on top. And it's 11, 12, 13 downstairs. And the family room's down there, which I wouldn't do again. There's no bathroom, small windows. It's just do 2 roomettes. So, again, roomettes. Generally, the train's set up. I'll go over this at the end of the video. This thing I made, put together last year. But engine, baggage car, sleeper cars, dining car, and then the lounge car, which we call the bubble car, and then coach cars. So okay, coach passengers aren't supposed to come into the sleeper cars. Privacy. Okay, pros and cons on the train I'll get into soon, but back to the roomette. There's a temperature control in there. It doesn't work. So they can say it kind of works, this and that. I don't think it works. They do have air circulating all the time. The hallway, it gets a little warm in the room. Sometimes keep your door open. There's more vents up coming in from the hallway. It's a tight hallway again. Things get bigger as you're on the train longer, I think. So, but the temperature, yeah, doesn't come. Other things, we take on the train, try and keep it limited, but flashlight's great when you get off the train. Flashlight's great. I mean, you have your phone too, but I like a little flashlight. Kind of old school, I guess, still. Look under the seat. Things can drop under the seat, cracks and crevices. So they have washcloths on there. You can shove those into spaces that might be rattling a little bit. We've never had too much of a problem, but closet, this and that, what have you. So, going over noise, one of the cons, noise on the train movement. I don't see a huge difference on top to the bottom, but it can be a little noisier on the bottom close to the tracks. You can sway more on the top, but excuse me, I don't think you notice it too much. Again, the bathroom's easy to get into, no problems. The shower, no problem. As far as meals, they're included, and food's expensive on the train, but you get a full meal. They started doing appetizers a few years ago. The shrimp's good, kinda, and I can do without the appetizers, but the food is great. The girls get the steak occasionally. I got it once, I think, but I don't eat a ton of steak. I want it tender. It's pretty good. Everybody talks about it. It's pretty good, but I usually go with the salmon or the chicken. So, and then the desserts are desserts. I mean, sweet tooth there can do that. Staff is great. Your car attendant, I mean, most of the time, just great people on the train. The dining car, probably 50-50. They're not bad or anything, a little flat. They go through a lot of people and this and that, but your car attendant, yeah, they are great. They'll tell you when things are happening. You do have a speaker in your room, but hard to hear sometimes. Got to pay attention, but your car attendant, get to know them. It's great. So I like the quiet on the train, kind of relax from everyday life. Job, I see a lot of people, great, but yeah, it's nice to be in the car there, but one of our funnest things is going to the meals. So 3 times a day, takes up a lot of time, but you meet interesting people. You sit with them. You can get meals in your room, but we do like sitting with new people across the country, across the globe, basically. A lot of older people, retired people are close to that. So fascinating to talk to. My daughter always has a good time interacting, and it takes up time. We're movie people, TV people. I'm telling you, I watched maybe 2 movies on the whole trip out, because it's all about the scenery and walking through the train, and then the 3 meals come up all the time, and you're full. They're big meals, and you can be full all the time because you're not moving around, and it's like before you know it, oh, it's mealtime again. So you try and space those out and stuff. So again, back to the attendance, so make sure you get back on the train from all the stops. Don't wander away. They talk about in other videos. They'll leave you. Don't wander away. People get left. I've never seen it. They're pretty strict. Your car attendant's like, yeah, we're only here this long, or they blow the whistle anyway. I don't wander at all. I like looking at the train anyway, even the longer stops supposedly. Yeah, so it's great. One of the cons, getting back on the train, sometimes people dilly-dally, people that smoke or what have you, and they got to stay away from the doors because a lot of people, they don't like it, Another reason why to have a roomette versus coach and stuff, if you're sensitive to smells, from other people, you're in your own room and stuff, certain people do certain things that are like legal now, does not go over well with a lot of people. So roomette's great for privacy, obviously. So, okay. Did I go over a lot? I got notes here, so. Security, yeah, I did all this stuff. So all quick, the negatives, noise, kind of went over the noise thing, noise from other people, not just the train, but roomette kind of solves that, okay. Smells, smoking, food issues. We were late one time, and the only food issue was they ran out of food. They plan on a trip, and they try and make do with snacks or something from the snack car, or they put together this porridge or stew or something. I'm like, oh, okay, and it was pretty awful, actually, so that was worthless. Um, the movement on the train, you can use ginger chews. As you know, ginger can help settle the stomach. They're awful. They're awful to me. I always get a ginger ale. Don't drink much pop, but a ginger ale is great. So I get ginger ale, you know, and I never have a problem. You can use scopolamine, other remedies to help if that's a problem. I always notice you get off the train, especially after 2 days, even if you get out at most of the stops, you're a little wiggly on your legs, or it could feel a little different, kind of like when I used to scuba dive after a week of diving. Yeah, the motion on land's a little off and stuff. So just be aware of that. Try and get off at the stops, okay? The number one negative thing, and it's hands down the truth, is it's late, like all the time. Now, our first trip, I planned on it, or I expected it. We were within a half hour into Davis or Martinez, either one. I'm like, what are they talking about? Yeah, every other time, it's late. So from 2 hours, maybe at the lowest, to 6 hours. So plan on that. It's part of the journey and stuff. And I don't mind being on it a little bit longer, actually, because it's hard to let go. Like, wow, that was great, you know, in so many ways, despite the negatives and stuff. So prices I went over. Just keep an eye on the prices. I'm sure they still do that. If it drops, call them and they'll redo it for you. Yeah, breakdowns and all that can happen, and you can be stuck for hours. I think we were stuck 2 hours one time, but they try and make up time, so be mindful of that. Your stops may be cut short, especially towards the end of the train. So, okay. One other thing I bring, plastic bag. You don't have to change clothes much depending on your body type, chemistry, and this and that, but underwear, socks, you know, you can keep separate. I do bring disinfectant wipes to wipe down things. They change the material or on the seats. As of late, I don't know if it's all changed over to more of a vinyl than the fabric. And fabric's like a sponge. It can hold on to a lot of bacteria and smells and all that, no matter what you do. I'm a car detailer, so I get it. But now it's easily kept clean. They've always kept clean. I've never had a problem in the sleeper cars being clean for the most part. Bathrooms can get a little touchy depending on people there, but there's 4 options, you know, 4 different bathrooms on a sleeper car. And yeah, so that's the main thing of the train. What's the other thing I bring on? Sorry, I keep adding things, is a timetable. Now we have our phones now, computers. I still love this old paper timetable. You can still get online, and it goes through the stops. Of course, times can be a little off, but you know when the night time is. And this thing is, I like it. You can tape it to your top bunk that's kind of held up or buckled up, or just keep it by your table. So I like that quite a bit. I do have an Empire Builder here, which we plan on doing come May. Daughter's graduating out in Portland, so we're going to do Empire Builder, which is the top route here. It's a super liner. There's super liners and view liners, and like I said, I'm not going into specific details. A lot of videos on that, but so we're going to try that out, see if it's going to be a little bit different, whether it's food and this and that. So that's great. And then here's a collage or a collection of postcards. So I like collecting. If you've seen other videos of mine, I don't do a lot of videos, but I'm like, what can I collect? And this came up. So you open this up, and it's got a map. And I love the color scheme, the black and the brown there, of the major routes, and then it folds out with multiple postcards here of the main routes. So of course Zephyr is my focus, and then the Builder's coming up soon. So this is a nice little set. So I really like this. And then as far as books, This American Story is an excellent book, the history of Amtrak. So I like this book a lot more than I thought. I'm not going to show a lot in there, but it goes over the history of it, the changes in paint schemes and engines. I think they're getting ready, or they're starting to repaint the engines. Phase 7 paint scheme I'm not big on, I'm kind of attached to the Phase 4, I believe it is. Paint scheme, the P42s. I think they're going to be ALC 42s. Not a huge train guy as far as mechanics and all that. I'd like to learn more, but that's great. This was the main book I got on our first trip in 2012 or something like that, and it goes over all the routes. But the main thing in here I focused on a lot, I remember, is at the back, it goes over the rooms and roomettes and how they're organized. And all this is online and stuff, but this is what I relied on back in the day. I like paper stuff anyway, so you could tell how the rooms are set up, what numbers are on top, etc. So this is a great thing to pick up online if you like stuff like that. It does have a map in the front of the routes. Obviously, I'm all about the routes and stuff, as evidenced by the thing behind me, and I will show you that in a minute. So those are the main things. So behind me, to wrap this up, I made this map, I think last year after our trip, or 2 years ago. So I've gone on 5 or 6 trips, like I said, over the last probably 12 years, 13 years or something like that. But anyway, I made this. This is a Cato model. This is a starter pack, which is great because it comes with the engine, it comes with a sleeper, a coach, and a lounge. And this is the Superliners, mind you. Now it's missing the diner car. So you can get these online. I don't think they make them anymore. I got a couple, but as collectors buy 2 or 3 of everything. So you can get extra packs. This one probably had the baggage car, I think. And then I got an extra, I got the dining car. So in this here, so I made this here. You can buy this map online. I was going to make it myself, and then I'm like, well, this is nice with the color scheme. 3 different colors here for the states, and then I put a little gold wire here, or copper color wire, on the route, and then the LEDs highlighted this, which was beautiful. I mean, you see the LEDs. I could cover those more, but anyway, highlights the route. And just love this. And then a ledge, and I put this motto on here, and a little button saying California Zephyr, which I might take off if I add to it. So let's see if I can get a little closer here. Bring this up maybe. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll try and do that. Let's see if that works a little better. Might not. Okay. So yeah, so how the cars are, do they go over that or not? So engine, baggage car, sleeper cars, then the dining car, and then the lounge car, and then you go with the coaches. So the coach people can go to the lounge car, dining car, but they're not supposed to come into the sleeper cars, which are towards the engine. So generally they'll have 2 or 3. You can correct me, or I'm sure things vary a lot, but 2 or 3 sleeper cars, 2 or 3 coach cars, okay? So they're not supposed to come in, you know, it's neat to look and stuff, and I don't mind, but the car attendants probably make sure, hey, let's keep this relaxed and quiet there. Bottom of the dining car is the snack bar. Yeah, and I love this display. So, yeah, and you can vary this light, of course, so I don't have to get into this whole thing, but I love looking at this thing, how I add the different routes to it. How bright does it go? It goes pretty bright, so. And that's the Zephyr, so I'm getting excited about the Empire Builder coming up. Hopefully my daughter will be up for it, the middle one. We've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with doing this, and I think I covered most things. So I'm sure I'll think of more things, or I can break down things more. But that's the California Zephyr. So enjoy it. Pros and cons. Staff is great. Just expect to be late. That's what it is. Food is better than average. I'm not too picky. I like things more bland and, you know, good. And they really do a nice job with this. So, okay. Enjoy it. Meet new people or don't meet people. Animals. We've seen a lot of animals on some of the trips and not much on others. We've been in wintertime, we've been in springtime or summertime. I like them both. I don't even know. I think I like the summertime better just to get out and it's more comfortable outside, but winter's beautiful. Moose, wild horses a lot, eagles. And if you have staff on there that narrates, sometimes there's someone in the lounge car, I've only seen that twice, that's excellent. They tell you about different areas, they tell you about Moffat Tunnel. The best route is from Denver to Glenwood Springs, I think. It's beautiful. Finally got the wife to do it last year. Just a day trip from Chicago. You get a night in there, get all your meals, so you get the full experience. If you're a little leery about doing 2 days or just being on the train in general, try and do a one-day trip. And she really liked it. She understood what the girls and I have loved. She's one to get out to see family or go on trips quickly. Plane, which I don't fly well anymore. Don't fly at all. And she liked it. It's a little bumpier coming back than I remember. Probably the worst. For some reason, I don't know, tracks, time of the year, what have you. It was the end of May, so it's pretty good. But it's a beautiful route right in here, the Moffat Tunnel and scenery. So if you're going to do the one day, don't just stop in Denver, which I thought about doing. I said, let's go to Glenwood Springs. Hot springs there on the river, beautiful bike trail along the river. It's a great, just a couple days, and you get the train ride there. And then you do it again on the way back. And you can experience. Thing about the train, it does cost more than flying. Always has, 2 to 3 times depending. Try and work it out, but it's part of the experience. And again, if you don't like flying, and everything to do with flying, the airports, people, the congestion, the security, I'm all for security, but it's so relaxing. And I'm one to kind of pick up on any security or issues and stuff, and they hide it well if they have people around and measures, but I don't worry. I've never been worried on the train, so I do like the roomette though for security wise, and like I said, they watch those, I'm sure. So yeah, anything else? Probably, but that's my take on Amtrak, and I love it, even the negatives and stuff, and hopefully our trip will work out to go out to Oregon and maybe Washington, Seattle. The train splits up here, the Empire Builder, so I might take the one to Portland for the graduation and then back from Seattle. And we'll see how that trip goes. I'm guessing, like I said, not much different. It's a Superliner, it's Amtrak, same dining experience, same setup apparently. So, and I do want to go out east here. They're pretty direct lines. I want to go to DC again, Salem, Massachusetts. I wish they had one directly to Florida. Apparently they just opened a new one up. It's like 38 hours. I'm like, okay. No, it's like 17 to drive it, or 18 straight from where we're at, southwest Michigan. But and I could keep rambling on. So I hope you got something from this. There's more detailed videos. And then, of course, they cut in shots of the train ride. It's scenery. It's beautiful. You see the food and all that. But these are my tips and feelings or advice. And I hope you got something from it. So anyway, good luck on your future trips. Hopefully not too many negative things, if anything. And enjoy the ride for something different, if nothing else. So thanks for watching.